Alexandra Eala just showed up at the Australian Open, and she wasn't alone. The Filipino tennis sensation rolled into Melbourne alongside Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. Just casually hanging with two of the biggest names in men's tennis like it's a completely normal Tuesday. Fans are absolutely losing their minds over photos and videos of the trio together. And here's why this moment is so much bigger than it appears on the surface. This isn't just about proximity or convenient photo opportunity. This signals something profound about where Eala's career is heading and, more importantly, who in the tennis world is taking serious notice of her meteoric rise. Let's get one thing absolutely clear right from the start. When you show up to a Grand Slam tournament with Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, you're not just another player hoping to make some noise in the early rounds. You're someone these elite athletes respect enough to train with, travel with, and publicly associate with. That doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen because someone's agent arranged a publicity stunt. That happens because you've earned it through your game, your work ethic, and your demonstrated ability to compete at the highest level. The moment Alex Eala arrived at the Australian Open alongside two of tennis's brightest stars, social media absolutely exploded. Fans posted photos and videos of the trio together, walking through the tournament grounds, chatting easily, looking for all the world like colleagues and friends rather than a young upstart, tagging along with established champions. The tennis world immediately started asking questions, the kind of questions that reveal just how significant this moment actually is. How did this happen? When did Eala become close enough with Alcaraz and Sinner to arrive at one of tennis's biggest events together? What kind of relationship do they have? Are they just acquaintances being polite, or is there genuine respect and friendship here? And most importantly, what does this mean for Eala's career trajectory as she continues her assault on the WTA rankings? The answers to these questions reveal something fascinating about the ecosystem of elite tennis and how young players break through into the upper echelons of the sport. This isn't just about talent, it's about access, relationships, training opportunities, and being accepted into circles where the best players in the world sharpen each other. Here's the crucial context you absolutely need to understand. Alexandra Eala trains at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. That's not just any tennis facility where people take casual lessons on weekends. This is one of the premier tennis development centers in the entire world, a place specifically designed to transform talented juniors into professional champions. Eala's first encounter with Rafael Nadal himself is the kind of story that reveals both her humble beginnings and how far she's come. She described meeting Rafa at the Madrid airport when she was on her way to try out the academy for just 1 week before her family committed to the program. "We kind of ran after him," she admitted with genuine embarrassment. "Not ran after, but we were fangirling, and we told him we're going to your academy." From that nervous fangirl moment to now training alongside some of the best players in the world represents a journey of incredible growth, not just in skill, but in confidence and standing within the tennis community. The Nadal Academy attracts elite players from around the globe who want to sharpen their skills under world-class coaching using state-of-the-art facilities. Carlos Alcaraz has deep connections to Spanish tennis and the broader ecosystem of elite training facilities in the country. Jannik Sinner, meanwhile, has been known to train at various elite facilities across Europe during his off-season preparation periods. The fact that Alexandra Eala exists in the same training circles as these megastars tells you absolutely everything about how seriously the tennis world is taking her potential. You don't get invited into those practice sessions unless coaches and players genuinely believe you belong there. You don't get to hit with Carlos Alcaraz, a multiple Grand Slam champion and former world number one, unless he thinks you can actually push him during training and help him prepare for his own matches. This is crucial to understand. Elite tennis players are incredibly protective of their practice time. They need specific kinds of work, specific shot patterns, specific intensities. They're not going to waste valuable court time hitting with someone who can't provide the level of challenge and quality they need. The fact that Eala is hitting with players at Alcaraz and Sinner's level means they see genuine value in practicing with her. Let's talk about where Alexandra Eala stands right now in her career, because the timing of this Australian Open appearance with Alcaraz and Sinner is absolutely perfect from a narrative standpoint. She just broke into the top 50 of the WTA rankings for the first time in her career, after reaching the semifinals at the ASB Classic in Auckland. That's a massive milestone for any player, but it's especially significant for someone from the Philippines, where tennis doesn't have anywhere near the infrastructure, government support, or cultural prominence that it enjoys in countries like the United States, Spain, France, or Australia. Eala's rise has been nothing short of remarkable when you actually examine the timeline. This time last year, she was ranked 138 in the world and playing ITF events, essentially the minor leagues of professional tennis. She was competing for modest prize money at venues most tennis fans have never heard of, grinding away and hoping for her breakthrough opportunity. Fast forward just 12 months, and she's guaranteed a spot in the main draw of the Australian Open based on her ranking. She's rubbing shoulders with the sport's absolute elite. She's arriving at Grand Slams with multiple major champions. That's not gradual improvement. That's not steady progress. That's explosive, meteoric growth that announces the arrival of a genuine talent. Her breakthrough moment came at the Miami Open last year when she reached the semifinals of that prestigious WTA 1000 event and beat Iga Swiatek along the way. Let me repeat that because it's absolutely crucial to understanding Eala's credentials. She beat the former world number one and multiple Grand Slam champion. That wasn't a lucky break. That wasn't Swiatek having an off day and gifting Eala the match. That was a statement victory that announced to the entire tennis world that Alexandra Eala belongs on the biggest stages. After Miami, she reached her first WTA Tour final at Eastbourne. These aren't small warm-up tournaments that nobody pays attention to. These are prestigious events where the best players in the world compete, where ranking points matter enormously, where reputations are built or destroyed. Eala went from relative obscurity to must-watch tennis in the span of just a few months, and the tennis establishment took serious notice. Tournament directors started calling, sponsors started paying attention, media started requesting interviews, and most importantly, other elite players started recognizing her as someone worth knowing, worth training with, worth respecting. Now here she is at the Australian Open, not just participating but arriving with Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner like it's the most natural thing in the world. The optics of that moment are incredibly powerful. Tennis fans see photos of that trio together and immediately understand on an instinctive level that Alexandra Eala isn't just another promising young player who might develop into something special eventually. She's someone that the next generation of tennis legends already considers a peer. Someone worth associating with publicly, someone who belongs in their orbit. Let's dive deep into what training with players like Alcaraz and Sinner actually means for Eala's development, because this goes way beyond just having famous friends or good networking. When you practice regularly with elite competition, you're forced to elevate absolutely every aspect of your game. You can't get away with weaknesses because they'll exploit them ruthlessly and repeatedly. Your footwork has to be sharper because they'll make you run. Your shot selection has to be smarter because they'll punish poor decisions. Your mental toughness has to be stronger because they'll test you in ways that lower-level players simply cannot. Carlos Alcaraz is known throughout tennis for his incredible athleticism and aggressive baseline game. He covers the court like few players in history. His ability to retrieve seemingly impossible shots and turn defense into offense instantly is legendary. Hitting with Alcaraz means Eala is experiencing the kind of pace, power, and court coverage she'll face against the absolute best players in women's tennis. She's learning how to handle that intensity, how to neutralize it, how to create opportunities even when her opponent seems to be everywhere at once. Jannik Sinner brings a completely different, but equally valuable challenge. His consistency and remarkable ability to redirect pace with minimal backswing make him one of the most difficult players in the world to break down. He doesn't give you rhythm. He doesn't make unforced errors. He makes you earn every single point through perfect execution. Practicing against that style prepares Eala for the grinding, physical baseline matches she'll absolutely need to win if she wants to climb higher in the rankings. Beyond all the technical and tactical benefits, there's an enormous psychological advantage to training regularly with champions. When you're on the practice court day after day with players who have won Grand Slams and reached number one in the world, something fundamental shifts in your mindset. You stop seeing the top of the sport as some distant, unreachable goal that only special people born with magical gifts can achieve. You see it as something genuinely achievable because you're literally standing across the net from people who've done it, and you're holding your own in practice. That psychological shift cannot be overstated in terms of importance. So many talented players never break through to the elite level, not because they lack the physical skills, but because they cannot mentally accept that they belong there. They see the top players as fundamentally different, as inhabiting a separate category of human being. Training with champions destroys that limiting belief and replaces it with the confidence that you can compete with anyone. The Australian Open draw gives Alexandra Eala a legitimate chance to make a serious statement on one of tennis's biggest stages. She lost in the first round of qualifying last year, which means she's defending almost no ranking points from this tournament. Every single match she wins in Melbourne will boost her ranking significantly. If she wins a couple of rounds, and given her current form, that's absolutely possible, she could crack the top 40 or even higher. Here's where things get really fascinating from a ranking perspective. Eala's trajectory for the next few months is set up almost perfectly for a major leap forward. She's defending relatively few points through March, which means she has enormous opportunity to add to her total without the pressure of replacing points that are dropping off her ranking. If she maintains anything even close to her current form, if she keeps playing with the confidence and tactical intelligence she's shown recently, she could genuinely be ranked inside the top 32 by the time Roland Garros arrives in late May and early June. That would make her a seeded player at a Grand Slam tournament. For someone who was playing ITF events just 12 months ago, that would represent an absolutely ridiculous, almost unprecedented rise through the rankings. The Philippines is going completely insane over Alexandra Eala's success, and rightfully so. Tennis isn't a major sport there compared to basketball, boxing, or other athletic pursuits that dominate the cultural landscape. But Eala is single-handedly changing that narrative, inspiring an entire generation of young Filipinos to pick up a racket and dream impossible dreams. Filipino fans traveled internationally to Auckland to support her during the ASB Classic, creating an atmosphere that felt more like a home match than a tournament halfway around the world from the Philippines. They'll be in Melbourne in even greater numbers, creating the kind of passionate vocal support that makes matches feel like events rather than just sporting competitions. Donna Vekic, one of Eala's recent opponents, even commented with genuine amazement on the Filipino support, saying simply, "There's so many of you guys." That kind of passionate, traveling fan base creates pressure, absolutely, but Eala seems to handle it remarkably well. She's talked repeatedly about how her family keeps her grounded, how they built the foundation for her career through enormous sacrifices, and how the family-oriented culture in the Philippines shapes her approach to success and fame. She's not out here getting a big head or making demands or behaving like a diva despite her rapidly rising profile. She's putting her head down, working harder than ever, and letting her results on the court speak for themselves. That humility combined with fierce competitiveness is exactly the combination that creates champions. After beating Vekic at the Kuyong Classic, a prestigious warm-up event in Melbourne, Eala said something that should absolutely terrify her future opponents. "I want to say this is the best I've ever played. I think I'm in a good moment." That's not arrogance or empty bravado. That's genuine confidence born from thorough preparation and recent success against quality opponents. She beat Vekic twice in the span of just 1 week. First at the ASB Classic in a marathon 3-set battle, then again at Kuyong in straight sets with far more control and dominance. The improvement between those two matches demonstrates how quickly Eala is adapting and learning, how she's able to identify what worked and what didn't, and make adjustments in real time. That ability to learn rapidly and implement changes is the absolute hallmark of an elite competitor. Someone who's going to keep getting better rather than plateauing at a certain level. Let's address the elephant in the room head-on, because some cynical people will inevitably claim that showing up with Alcaraz and Sinner is just good public relations, that it doesn't actually mean anything substantive for her tennis development. Those people are completely wrong and fundamentally misunderstand how professional sports work at the elite level. Professional athletes at this level absolutely do not waste time on publicity stunts or empty gestures. Their time is far too valuable. Their preparation is far too important. If Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner are spending time with Alexandra Eala, traveling with her, being photographed with her, it's because they see genuine value in the relationship. It's because they respect her game enough to believe she can help them prepare for their own matches. It's because she brings something to the table beyond just being a nice person or having an interesting backstory. The tennis world is incredibly small at the elite level. Everyone knows everyone. Reputations spread quickly through the locker room and practice courts. If you're not good enough, if you don't have the right work ethic, if you don't have the mental approach that champions respect, the top players simply won't want to spend time with you. They'll be polite in public, but they won't seek you out for practice or travel. The fact that Eala has integrated into these circles, that she's become someone that players like Alcaraz and Sinner actively want to associate with, speaks volumes about how she's viewed by her peers at the absolute highest level of the sport. There's also an extremely practical element to this relationship that goes beyond friendship or mutual respect. Training partners matter enormously, especially during Grand Slam tournaments. Players need high-quality practice sessions between matches to stay sharp, to work on specific aspects of their game, to simulate match conditions without the pressure of actual competition. Having someone like Alexandra Eala available as a practice partner, a player who's in tremendous form, who can replicate different playing styles, who absolutely won't take it easy on you or give you anything for free, makes her incredibly valuable to players like Alcaraz and Sinner who are trying to prepare optimally for their own title runs. This relationship benefits absolutely everyone involved. Alcaraz and Sinner get a hungry, talented, in-form practice partner who pushes them and helps them prepare. Eala gets invaluable experience hitting regularly with the best players in the world, learning from their approach to Grand Slam preparation, absorbing their professionalism and championship mentality through osmosis. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement that only happens when all parties bring genuine value to the table. This isn't charity. This isn't mentorship. This is elite athletes recognizing each other as peers and leveraging each other's strengths to improve. Looking ahead at Eala's immediate schedule, she's loaded with opportunities to continue climbing the rankings. After the Australian Open, she'll play events in the Middle East and then head into the North American hardcourt swing. If she can string together consistent results over the next few months, not even winning tournaments necessarily, but just reaching quarterfinals and semifinals regularly, her ranking will absolutely skyrocket. Some people are making comparisons to Emma Raducanu's meteoric rise a few years ago, but that comparison isn't quite accurate or fair. Raducanu won the US Open as a qualifier in one of the most shocking results in tennis history, then immediately struggled with injuries, coaching changes, and overwhelming expectations. Her rise was so sudden and so extreme that she didn't have time to build the foundation necessary to sustain it. Eala's rise is fundamentally different. It's more methodical, more sustainable, built on steady improvement and accumulating experience at each level before moving up. She's climbing the ladder step by step, learning the lessons she needs to learn at each stage rather than skipping levels and trying to figure everything out at once. Her training at the Nadal Academy gives her access to world-class facilities, coaching, sports science, and mental conditioning. She's mentioned that Rafael Nadal himself has given her tips and advice during practice sessions when he's at the academy. When one of the greatest champions in tennis history, someone with 20-plus Grand Slam titles and 2 decades of experience at the absolute pinnacle of the sport, takes time to share knowledge with you, you better believe that's going to dramatically accelerate your development. The technical aspects of Eala's game are solid across the board. She doesn't have one glaring weakness that opponents can easily exploit with a simple game plan. Her serve continues to improve and is becoming a genuine weapon rather than just a way to start points. Her ground strokes are powerful, consistent, and versatile enough to adapt to different opponents and situations. Her movement and court coverage are excellent, allowing her to defend well and transition to offense.